Welcome to I'd Print That. I'm Andrew.
I'm Joe.
So, not a lot of printery things for me this week. I know you played with your pew-pew lasers, though.
I did. I used my little laser thermometer and found that my actual temp is accurate. When it says it's 90 degrees C, it's 90 degrees C on the thermometer. So I think my little Arduino, I think it's only a 12-volt Arduino. They can only supply 12 volts of power to the print bed. Mm-hmm. So I need to find a way to increase that to 24 volts. Because with 24 volts, they say you can heat this thing up in a matter of minutes.
Okay. I wonder if there's a way to trick the pins. You'd probably have to do it after the Arduino. But so it'll send you the signal from power supply to board. Mm-hmm. But from board to in between board and printer bed, there's probably a way you can inject the amount of power.
Right, or put on like a daughter board or something.
Like a breakout board for the ramps. That's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, I need to see. I will get hold of G-Tech and see if there's a way to do that. See if they recommend some way. Mm-hmm. Maybe that, or do a little research on the 2560 board I have and see if it can support 24 volt power. If so, it might just be as simple as getting a new power supply.
Yeah, the ATX, you can double up a power rail, a 12 volt rail, and get 24 out of it.
Yeah, and I got an extra 12 volt slot on my power supply that's not being used right now.
Yeah, and then, that's parallel.
Right.
You can just parallel the rails, and should as long as you have the capacitance to take care of it, it should be fine.
Yeah, I just gotta see what.
As long as the Arduino doesn't go pop.
And that's what I'm concerned about is that Arduino not liking that.
Our friend Google.
Yeah, Google it.
But yeah, my printers are still in the closet. Shut up. Actually, it was funny because I was talking to my wife about it last night. It's like I feel bad not printing because I haven't touched a printer in, what's it been, almost 2 weeks now.
About 2 weeks, yeah. Same with me, though.
And she's like, yeah. And he says, well, the problem is, for me to go do the printer, I have to go in our bedroom because that's where our printers are. And I feel bad because it's nice out and the kids want to play outside. So I get home and generally I end up staying outside, or I'm cooking dinner, or vice versa with my wife. Or we're out doing things. We've got karate. We've got, my wife has meetings after work. And it's just, when I get home, I want to spend time with the kids. I want to do stuff because it's nice outside.
Right.
We're looking at selling our house this fall. So I'm trying to get our backyard better. I wouldn't say the best.
So the 2-year plan is now a 6-month plan?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's accelerated a little bit.
It has. We really sat down and thought about it, but that's not really 3D printer-y things.
No,
but it's news, and it's happening in our lives.
It's a good time to buy a house. It really is. The market's coming back around. It's a buyer's market at this point. Mm-hmm. There's some nice places that are out there for sale. There's people have been sitting on some property for the last few years, unable to get rid of it, and they're to the point where they're kind of desperate and liquidating things at a decent price.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna try to work that out and make it work for us. And we really hate where we live. I've grown up in the country my entire life. I moved into, I wouldn't say Post Falls is a real city, but it's more city than I've ever been in. And I don't know, I'm more of a redneck than I admit to. Mm-hmm. I don't have my big giant Chevy Blazer that's lifted 3 feet high and giant tires, and all the neighbors looked and sneered at me when I started it. I don't have that anymore, so that's a plus. But I just hate not being able to do anything. I've always had cows. Growing up, can't have cows. Can't even have chickens where I live. And
that's interesting because yesterday at work, after we got done doing late night maintenance where I work at, I was driving up Ramsey, and just past Kathleen, there's some houses there on the right hand side, and there were 2 chickens on the sidewalk. It's like they crawled under the vinyl fence from somebody's urban farm.
So yeah, we're just gonna try to look for a place where we can have some animals, have a little bit of land. I'd really like to have a shop, and definitely we need a bigger house.
Right.
I mean, we have 2 kids. And right now they both have their own rooms and we have our room, and then there's no more rooms, and that's why my printers are in a closet I want an office, makerspace. My wife does too. She crafts, and she would love to have her own room. So we're kind of looking for a 5-bedroom house, or even a 4-bedroom with a large basement,
Or something
basement.
with a 4-bed with a big shop, or
I don't. I don't want to shop. I'd rather have. I'd like to have a shop because I do mechanic. I do most of my own mechanicking. I'm still into 4-wheeling and stuff. So, and I'm still looking to get another small Jeep Cherokee, something that all the kids can come in and we can go for a day, weekend wheeling trip. But for more so, I'd rather be in the house just because when I usually work on printers and stuff, it's late at night, and I'd rather be in the house.
sure.
So yeah, but yeah, that's what we're looking for. That's going to be coming up. One little bit of news before we really get into much. This episode and the next one following are going to be released on their schedule, but they're going to be short. Joe and I are going on vacation. Joe's going to be gone 1 week, and I'm going to be gone the following week.
And I'm going to be gone a couple of days. We're taking we're having the mother-in-law come up, and we're going to go to Seattle. Yeah, going to see Iron Maiden and George Clinton.
And I'm going to Disneyland.
Yep, you're going to Disneyland.
And so, yeah, we decided to do... So you guys still get some content, but we're not trying to rush and get episodes out, full hour-long episodes before we're both going on vacation.
And we don't want to take a break because I don't think there's a need to. And a lot of people who take breaks kind of are like, wow, I can just
not do
maybe
this
take this a
anymore.
little bit longer. And we want to leave you with,
Something.
some pleasant, ear candy.
Well, we want to be consistent as well. A lot of podcasts die because of being non-consistent.
Right.
People fall off because they're like, oh, well, I generally listen to this at this time, and now I'm going to go find someone else to listen to.
And they forget about
Yeah, and we
the
don't want
previous
that.
thing.
Love us, please.
Exactly. Here a few moments ago, you may have noticed maybe a little bit of a change in energy and conversation.
A little bit of a jump cut, if you will.
Maybe. I'll do my best to edit it out. The laptop that we record the podcast on, when I booted it up, it said, it's a Windows 10 machine. It said, hey, you need to do an update. Would you like to restart now or cancel and do it later? I said, great. Yeah, let's cancel it and do it later. So we started our recording. We got probably 4 minutes in and look to my right where the laptop sits, and I have a nice little blue screen with a swirling icon that tells me that it's restarting. So after some complaining and grumbling, I went upstairs and...
I did get a pineapple juice out of it, though, so I can't complain.
No. I at least brought back snacks. Earlier in the podcast, like episode 2, I think, I made comment about with my little M3D printing, and because it doesn't have its own onboard computer, you have to keep it plugged into an actual computer so it could send the code to it. And I had a Windows update happen in the middle of a print, blew up the print, and I figured out how to keep the computer running after that happened, obviously. So I want to share that information with you if you guys are interested. In order to keep your Windows 10 machine from rebooting in the middle of a project you're working on, be it a 3D print or podcast, go ahead and click on the Start button in your lower left-hand corner, click on Settings, and in Settings, click on Windows Update in the upper left-hand corner there. Then to the right of that, at the bottom, click on Advanced Options, and then in there, at the very top, it says Choose How Updates Are Installed. Click on the little drop box there, and select Notify to Schedule Restart. Otherwise, the default automatic is going to reboot whenever it feels like, even if you're in the middle of something.
Yeah, and it usually gives you that, do you want to do it in 10 minutes, or do you want to do it in 4 hours? Once it gets to a point, that little error message will only last for like a minute. And if you're doing a podcast and you're looking at a microphone, you're looking at the news, you don't look at your laptop for a minute.
The Notify to Restart at least gives you a prompt. Says, hey, I want to push this out for a while, do it at 3 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it's automatic, it's just going to say, hey, buddy. And if you say cancel, ignore, it's going to be like, okay, well, I notified you. Let's go.
I told you so.
So once you're done, go ahead and click on the back button, and that should automatically save that, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So there's your Windows tip for the day. And besides that, we've got a few things to cover in the news this week. Some pretty neat things happened. First one is one you actually told me about, is the 3D printed ovaries to help infertile mice.
Yes. Well, I think they're trying to work on it towards humans, but they're testing it out on mice at the moment.
Right. Generally, anything that they start small
Yeah.
and then kind of scale up. So whether it's because of a treatment like chemotherapy, a result of age, or for other reasons, women's bodies can stop producing eggs that, when fertilized, become babies. No, really? I thought they became like velociraptors or dinosaurs.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
I want a velociraptor.
So do I.
I will name him Squishy.
Yeah. You know, they're thinking that dinosaurs probably had a lot more feathers than once believed.
Yeah, because, I mean, Jurassic Park, come on.
Well, I think in the new one they had some feathers on some of the dinosaurs, but they're saying maybe significantly more.
Yeah.
Anyway, researchers have developed a 3D printed scaffolding that could restore that function. When they implanted it in female mice that had their ovaries removed, the moms gave birth to healthy pups. The scientists presented their research last week at the annual meeting of the Endocrine Society in Boston. In order to work properly, the prosthesis needs to be rigid enough to be implanted during surgery, but flexible enough to allow eggs to develop. So the researchers printed a scaffolding out of gelatin. The scaffolding was doped with cells cultured from humans, follicles that produce estrogen, as well as contain the structure that eventually mature in the eggs. In the study, the researchers removed the mice's ovaries and implanted the 3D printed prosthetic ovaries in their place. The mice were able to ovulate, give birth to healthy pups, and nurse normally. This is the most recent of several scientific efforts in which researchers have turned to cells that create eggs as a treatment for infertility. If the bioprosthesis can be made to work in humans, it might address both the hormonal and egg-producing facets of infertility. The researchers specifically designed their prosthesis with downstream human applications in mind, according to the press release.
There's a whole industry based on infertility and in vitro fertilization and
test tubes, surrogates. You got fertility doctors that have all these medical options, and if a woman has lost her ability to bear children because her ovaries stopped working or is having problems with those, this addresses that specific need.
Yeah. It's every day we're reading more and more that how 3D printing is being injected into real world problems.
Speaking of more real world problems, especially in the surgery realms, surgeons can now 3D print cartilage with a new BioPen. A team of scientists based at St. Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne, are the ones behind the BioPen, which uses an ink of sorts made from a hydrogel and actual stem cells. Everyone's cartilage is different, and surgeons often do not know the exact shape and characteristics of a patient's cartilage until they're already performing the surgery. With the ability to recreate this biomaterial via this process, doctors can apply these replacements with incredible precision. The pen itself is built from a mixture of titanium parts and medical-grade plastics, meaning it's perfectly suited for use in operating theaters. Of course, at this stage, the BioPen is still very much in the prototype stage, but Professor Peter Chung and the rest of the team are hopeful it will eventually find its way to operating theaters around the world.
Yeah, and that's cool. I mean, stem cell research has been a big hang-up in medical society, and a lot of people are against it, a lot of people are for it.
I think the big thing that when people hear stem cells, they think of infant stem cells you get from babies. But stem cells can be harvested in other ways. And stem cell research has the ability to make significant leaps and bounds and changes in the medical field.
Yeah, it does.
I believe they've fixed nerve damage issues. I know, especially with neurodegenerative diseases like we spoke with last week's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and Alzheimer's, stem cells can help with those.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that we can't regrow on our own, but with the aid of stem cells, it promotes that and helps with that development.
Yeah. Not everybody can be Deadpool.
Not everybody can be Deadpool or Wolverine or Sabretooth.
Not everybody can be an X-Men. Please, can I be an X-Men?
There's a lot of uses for it.
Yeah. Not so doctor-y, sciencey stuff.
Yeah, not so doctor-y, sciencey stuff. If you want to watch something kind of mesmerizing, you can actually, there's a video attached to this next article. Go to the website, click on it, and It's pretty interesting. Advanced 3D printing technology lets us quickly create various objects, including real buildings, cars, but one of the most unusual uses for 3D printing might be creating glass objects by using a unique 3D printer model. Scientists from MIT have already figured out how to put molten glass through a 3D printer and have released a video that shows the mesmerizing process of creating objects using this particular material. MIT's Mediated Matter Group developed a G3DP system that's able to print different products out of glass layer by layer. The 3D printer seems to work just like another 3D printer that can print actual houses, but using glass is an even more thrilling experience.
Yeah. No, this is neat because I remember like watching, oh gosh, what was this TV show? Oh, How It's Made.
Right, yeah.
And watching him blow glass, and you watch those artisan glass blowers, and it's really neat stuff. And
just don't inhale.
Yeah, it's mesmerizing because, I mean, just watching the glass, and you can just sit there and watch that for hours. Now this is a 3D printer doing it, and I can watch my 3D printer print plastic forever.
The one thing I wanted to do quite a bit is glass blowing.
Yeah. I always thought it'd be fun.
There used to be a place in Coeur d'Alene where you could go in and do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was down on Sherman, but it's no longer there. Yeah, it's a very, very cool thing I've been curious about.
Yeah, and when I had my forge, when I was blacksmithing, I always thought that would be fun to try, but I didn't have near the tools or the knowledge. And
it's really all you need is just some wet newspaper and wood, and then the pole that you put the glass on.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have any of that.
But most of the shaping's done just with newspaper and wood, and then I think some metal forceps or something just to pinch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun, but it's like, ooh, I'm good with metal because I can smack metal with a big hammer.
Hulk smash.
Yeah.
So first of all, to actually shape the object, glass has to be heated to 1900 degrees Fahrenheit or 1038 degrees Celsius. Then the printer pours the substance, which looks like honey at this point, into a preset pattern. Once the object is printed, it has to cool down, at which point it will be perfectly transparent, just like any other glass product made using traditional glassblowing techniques. Some of MIT's 3D printed glass creations will be on display at the Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum next year.
The one thing I'd be curious is if it gets like air inclusions from being forced through the print head.
You know, that would be interesting. It might. But
I know I didn't watch the video, but I did see the picture when you were compiling the news, and it didn't look like it would. But you'd think there's too many variables unless it's like in a vacuum. It's going to try to have. It's going to have to get air in it at some point.
Yeah, I don't know how they're feeding the material into it or anything like that. There's probably, I would expect there to probably be some inclusions, but I think it just depends on the process that's being used.
Unless it sits in a hopper that's heated, and then it just literally almost like gravity flows down. But that I don't think that would work.
I don't know. To get a nice even bead for printing, it has to be forced through that extrusion nozzle.
Yeah, it does.
Because you can't just sit there and gravity feed your ABS or PLA.
No. It's definitely something to look into.
Yeah.
I obviously need to watch the video.
It's very, very entertaining.
Gaming this week. We did game last weekend after the podcast.
We did.
For a little bit, and then I got really tired and had to sleep.
Yeah, we got Becky into some Grim Dawn. She really enjoys it. She wants to play more of it. Her and I have been thinking about just going and playing some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't necessarily think that it sucks to be you get left behind. I think you can join in at any time.
Yeah, I mean, it's an ARPG. I mean, just like any ARPG, even if you're lower level, you can be carried and get up to the same level.
Right.
But yeah, we created 3 new tunes. I went back with the Shaman.
Mm-hmm. I stuck with a Nightblade.
I think Becky made an Arcanist.
Yeah, she's got a Raven pet, or familiar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
She has a little bird that flies around. Like I said, she really, really enjoys the games, having fun with it. So one of the reasons we're doing a double episode today is I do plan on trying to get some gaming in. Yeah. I want to start playing some Fallout and want to play some other things. Last night, Becky decided to fire up some Star Wars Battlefront, which we haven't played since October, since launch.
Yeah.
And she was sitting there, and she was playing. I came in, I sat down next to her, and she passed the controller over to me. And I played for a while, And she's like, it's amazing how you can not play a game for many months, sit down and just pick it right back up.
Oh, it's like Minecraft, dude. I will not play Minecraft for a long time. And then I can just sit down and literally continue right where I left off. No problems, just play.
Which we need to do.
We need to get our server back up and running, though.
I acquired a server.
Did you?
Yes. I have to see what it is. I've got a one-use server that's there that runs our voice, our mumble server.
Mumble, yeah. Which we need to fix. There's something going on with that thing. Dude, every like about a minute, when you key up, I get this loud interference noise. Like, it scares the crap out of me. Every time.
I wonder if it has something to do with my headset.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I don't get anything like that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's only mumble. Because we've spoken on Teams, on Vent.
Maybe it's something in the settings.
Maybe. But it scares the crap out of me.
I'm just going to sit there and just...
Well,
and actually, I don't even key up because Mumble's all voice controlled. It's all
I do.
Vox.
I have a key, push to talk on my mouse.
I don't push to talk on that because if I'm in the middle of something, I just want to say it.
Well, and my problem is like I have the kids running around. I don't want them running around, and that's just back from the WoW days. I would hate it. I didn't have kids when I played WoW, but I would hate it when people would leave their speak to talk, and you'd hear everything in the background.
If they're set up right, they're okay. Like sometimes the dogs, if they're in another room, they'll bark and it'll just be just loud enough that it'll activate it. But yeah, if you don't have them set up, they can be very, very annoying. People will just set their headphones down or have somebody yakking at them in the background. It's just like, dude, okay.
Not even set their headphones down. Just, I mean, their headphones on. And the part that always bugged me is, especially in 40-man raids, oh my gosh, it's herding cats. You're trying to keep all these people and say, you're on this rotation. And usually the worst one was there's inevitably some guy in like Tennessee or Texas, and it was summertime and it was super hot and they had a fan in their room. And you could just hear that thing droning.
And see, that right there, that's why on my, I use one of the Razer headsets. I have a little controller that I can just reach up and punch a mute button. Shuts my mic off. So if something's going on and I see that I'm broadcasting when I should be, I'll just click it off. Or if I want to rage a little bit, I just want to click the thing and then son of a
yes, that never happens in gaming.
No, it never happens at all. Gaming is absolutely without frustration. It's frustration free.
Oh god.
But I think that pretty much will do it for this week.
Yeah, I'm Andrew.
I'm Joe, and remember, if you can imagine it, you can print it.